Now at 6 and streaming on crossroadstoday.com, a Victoria woman pleads guilty to animal cruelty charges. More help from the state is coming to Calhoun County after last week's storms. And 2 years after 21 people were murdered at Robb Elementary School, Uvalde remembers.
It's going to be a very hot weekend with the heat index up at about 110. It's important that if you're going out to just deal with the heat as best you can. We'll be talking about the temperatures coming up in a moment.
And Victoria East has to win both games if they want to survive and advance today. And game 2 going on right now. And Shiner headed to the state tournament. That's coming up in sports.
You're watching 25 News now at 6. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Don Brubaker. Karina Garcia is off tonight. A Victoria woman pled guilty to felony animal cruelty charges. Thursday, 55-year-old Terry Ellis admitted to letting several cats and dogs in her care die from abuse and neglect. Authorities discovered the animals last summer during a welfare check while Ellis was in the hospital. Ellis has been sentenced to 8 years of probation and is not allowed to have any involvement with animals. Felony charges against her co-defendant, Carissa Salinas, are still pending. A 30-year-old woman was arrested by Victoria police Thursday. Isabel Smith of Victoria faces a charge in Victoria County of burglary of a home. She also faces a charge in Goliad County of bail jumping and failure to appear. Smith is in the Victoria County Jail in lieu of $40,000 bond. DeWitt County deputies arrested a 55-year-old suspect Thursday. Ronnie Belden of Cuero faces 8 charges. He is accused of continuous sex abuse of a child under the age of 14, aggravated sexual assault of a child, and indecency with a child, sexual contact. Belden is in the DeWitt County Jail in lieu of $240,000 bond. 2 years ago today, 19 fourth graders and 2 teachers were murdered at Robb Elementary School in Uvalde. Today they were remembered in one of the deadliest school shootings in U.S. history. Events in Uvalde today included a bell ringing when bells tolled 21 times to remember the victims. A butterfly release was held at a local church and there was a blood drive in honor of the victims. Community members are set to gather tonight at a vigil to remember those killed. Disaster unemployment assistance is now available in Calhoun County after the storms there May 13th. The Texas Workforce Commission is accepting applications from Calhoun County after it was added to the Presidential Disaster Declaration. Workers who are unable to work due to damage from the severe weather can apply for benefits online through Unemployment Benefit Services or by calling TWC at 800-939-6631 between 7 a.m. and 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. Last week, Calhoun County was hit by an EF1 tornado with maximum sustained winds of 105 miles an hour. Straight line winds around 85 miles an hour hit near Magnolia Beach. Recovery efforts are underway in downtown Houston after winds reached 100 miles an hour last week. But it could be months before thousands of broken windows in downtown Houston could be replaced or repaired.
At Clay and Travis,
it took me almost an hour to get out of downtown.
Bumper to bumper, rush hour traffic is drastically changing commutes.
Normally it takes me 45 minutes with traffic door to door, and then it's been taking me an hour and a half to 2 hours to get from my house to work.
No, not because it's busier, but some city blocks are shut down after high winds knocked out an estimated 4,000 windows in more than a dozen skyscrapers. Nearly a week after the storm and glass still litters downtown streets, some chunks have not stopped falling. Look, those pieces crashed down mid-interview with Chris Snack.
This corner right here took just a tremendous hit.
Whose disaster restoration company is working to fix 6 towers near the Wells Fargo Plaza.
It's not a week-long process. It's several months of work that goes into this.
Blinds are still dangling out of some windows while crews board up others, and it's a race to get the work done.
Just making sure, getting them tightened up for hurricane season, making sure you can keep the water out.
Replacement windows will have to be custom designed and ordered for each building, he says. Temporary glass may be needed if manufacturers don't have the exact fit.
Some of them will come together quicker just because of maybe availability of materials or how the damages are to that building.
There's no telling when it could look completely normal again,
Mother Nature, it is frustrating.
while the downtown community deals with the aftermath.
Now let's take a first look at your forecast. Here's First Warning Storm Team Chief Meteorologist Mac Pettis. Mac, can you just imagine how many windows that has to be in downtown Houston and traffic? Forget about it.
It really is amazing because, you know, you'd think that the storm would come in kind of one side of the building, but this is just random scattered all of the buildings in the downtown area. Imagine all that glass that's still on the floor. Anyway, folks, these are your temperatures for the weekend. Yes, as you can see here, we're looking for a 98 on Monday. We have to be very careful with the heat this weekend. I just want you to respect it. Otherwise, we're going to have a good time, all right? We'll talk more about that coming up a few minutes from now. Stay tuned.
Mac, thank you. Early voting continues until 7 o'clock tonight. Early voting is at the Dr. Patty Dodson Public Health Center, 2805 North Navarro, Classroom A. In the first 4 days of early voting, 2,811 Victoria County residents voted early in person. That's an average of 703 early voters per day. Two candidates are in the runoff for State Representative District 30. A.J. Louderback has more than 40 years of experience in law enforcement and was elected as Jackson County Sheriff 5 times. Louderback received endorsements from Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick, Attorney General Ken Paxton, Ag Commissioner Sid Miller, and former District 30 candidate Vanessa Hicks Calloway. Jeff Blocknight previously served as mayor of Victoria. He received an endorsement from both Governor Greg Abbott and District 30 State Representative Jeannie Morrison. Blocknight wants to focus on border security and business and economic development. Two candidates are in the runoff race for Victoria County Commissioner Precinct 3. Shannon Martin is running for Victoria County Commissioner Precinct 3. He previously served the Victoria Fire Department for over 35 years. He won 49% of the vote in the March 5th primary. Brad Tucker is running for Victoria County Commissioner Precinct 3. A Victoria native, Tucker worked in the construction industry for 25 years and has owned and operated Tucker Construction Company for 19 years. Tucker won 35% of the vote in the March 5th primary. In Lavaca County, two candidates are in the runoff for Lavaca County Sheriff. Incumbent Sheriff Micah Harmon spent more than 44 years in the public service, serving as the Justice of the Peace first, before he was elected to Lavaca County Sheriff in 2004. Harmon wants to address the cartel issues in Lavaca County. Stephen Greenwell is running for Lavaca County Sheriff. Greenwell received 43% of the vote in the primary election. Greenwell has more than 25 years of law enforcement experience. He served in positions focused on combating drug trafficking, human trafficking, and other crimes. Two candidates are vying for the position of county tax assessor in Calhoun County. Azalea Bonus and Tacey Johnson. Bonus received 37% of the vote and Johnson received 34% of the vote back in March. Two candidates are headed to a runoff in the race for Precinct 5 Constable, incumbent David Thomas and Chelsea Holt. Back in March, Thomas received 39% of the vote and Holt received 41% of the vote. Here's your viewer poll. Scan that QR code on your screen to vote. Here's the question. What race are you watching the most? May 28th, overwhelmingly 83%. State Representative District 30, very hot race. We thank you for voting. We want to hear from you. Come to crossroadstoday.com/vote to take part, and I will have an update on 25 News Now at 10. Bloomington High School will honor Kevin Garza during its graduation commencement tonight. Garza was supposed to walk the stage with the class of 2024, but his life was taken from him back in 2016. The 11-year-old was making his way to school when a car struck him. His mother will walk the stage and accept what should have been his diploma during the commencement. Kevin Garza was also honored in the school's yearbook. Next Thursday at 5:30 p.m., Victoria ISD will hold a board meeting to discuss a grievance filed against the former superintendent and Board of Trustees president. The board meeting will be held inside the administration building boardroom at 102 Prophet Drive. The Riverside Park Duck Pond fishing reopens for fishing. on tomorrow rather. The city of Victoria started stocking the pond last October with perch fingerlings and feeder fish, and young catfish were added earlier this year. The pond has been closed to fishing since February 26th to give the fish time to grow. Texas Parks and Wildlife has found the fish population is at a sustainable level for fishing. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today. Hit the like button and click the notification bell. That way you can see Crossroads Today on YouTube. And stay with us. Coming up on 25 News Now at 6, a North Texas City Councilman works overtime and in the process saves his life. Also ahead, the National Weather Service reports 2 tornadoes hit Temple Wednesday night.
Here's a look at what you can expect on Community Crossroads. We hear from Republican runoff candidates from Calhoun and Lavaca counties. We also hear from the Salvation Army and the Victoria Republican Women's Club.
If you voted in the Republican primary, you can vote in the runoff. If you didn't vote in the Republican primary or the Democrat primary, you can vote in the runoff.
Member in North Texas avoided a freak accident just by attending a city council work session.
Michael Jones was early for his Tuesday afternoon McKinney City Council work session when he got a call that a car hit the building where he works.
You know, I kind of brushed it off. I was like, well, you know, it happens. He's like, no, you don't understand. He like, the car went through the building. It went through your office. He's like, if you were there, it would have been a catastrophe.
An SUV plowed right through the office space occupied by B1 Bank, where Jones works.
That site is exactly my office.
Even hitting his desk.
Normally I would be there. It's just Tuesdays, the city council days.
Jones says his immediate concern was for his fellow co-workers, and he quickly left the meeting. When he saw the damage firsthand, he realized how lucky he was.
I was sitting at my desk looking at where it came in the angle. First, my legs would have been crushed.
McKinney police say the person who caused all of this damage was an unlicensed teenager who lost control of the vehicle while learning to drive with the help of her boyfriend. One bank employee sustained a minor leg injury, but no one else was hurt.
I think it was, had to have been the Lord watching over me.
Whether it was divine intervention or a twist of fate, Jones has a greater appreciation for his family and his own life.
Thanking God every day that you're here because, it could be gone in a second. It was a godsend that I was not there.
In McKinney, J.D. Miles, CBS News, Texas.
Memorial Day ceremonies in Victoria start next Monday. The Victoria County Veterans Council will host a ceremony at 11 a.m. at De Leon Plaza. The Warriors Weekend Field of Honor will host a ceremony next Monday night starting at 7:15 at the Golden Crescent Gold Star Memorial, 4802 John Stockbauer Drive. The event will include a flag retirement ceremony and a roll call for the 441 area soldiers killed in action. A Memorial Day program will be held at the El Campo Campo American Legion Hall. The program starts Monday morning at 11. The Legion Hall is at 2241 State Highway 71 in El Campo. The National Weather Service confirmed that 2 tornadoes touched down in the Temple area Wednesday. The first tornado was an EF2 twister that had winds of up to 120 miles an hour. The second tornado, an EF1, had winds of up to 95 miles an hour. The National Weather Service also confirmed an EF1 tornado with estimated peak winds of 105 miles an hour touched down in McLennan County Thursday.
Yes, we were here tracking all that storm activity up in North Texas. And of course, now that we're getting close to the end of May, we've got to start talking about tropical storm season. We have a special program that we've prepared for you. It's called Storm Prep 2024. This is supposed to be one of the most active hurricane seasons we've had in about 30, 40 years. So that's on June 3rd at 6:30. You'll watch us the news at 6. And then at 6:30, join us. In the 30 minutes, we're going to be talking about all kinds of subjects that are relevant to hurricane season. For example, building codes, what the ranchers are supposed to be doing with their cattle. We're going to be looking at evacuation routes, of course, and of course, we'll have the prediction for how many storms are going to fall develop this year. So coming up, we'll be talking about this weekend, which is going to be a hot one, right after this. Well, good evening, everyone. Obviously, it is feeling a lot like summertime. If you remember last summer, and who wants to remember last summer? It was a hot one, and we're getting into that kind of groove. Looking at 90 degrees at this hour, it feels like 100 because of the humidity. Remember, the heat index, we're not doing the heat index just to make it sound worse, okay? We're doing because that's how the humidity and the heat affect your body. So it feels like it's 100 degrees out there. So 100 is okay. 105, 110, things start getting serious. We managed to get up to 92 as a high today. Our record for today is 98. Lots of hazy sunshine over our area. No shower activity at all in our area. In fact, the state is sort of cut in half. Right at about Austin or Georgetown, you can see how the stormy weather continues north Texas, while below that, down into South Texas, is just hot and steamy. But of course, you can see where the pressures begin to rise. So up here, we're still have enough instability to pop the thunderstorms, but down south, it's just very hard to get anything going unless, something runs into it, like, heavy heat or possibly mountaintops. The dome of high pressure is going to be centering over the country, and it's going to be like this for quite some time. So we need to start learning how to deal with the heat. As I mentioned, here's Austin, here's the Dallas area, which right now is getting the big stormy weather, and you need to consider this. If you're driving north tomorrow or for the weekend, anything north of Austin is probably going to have some big afternoon thunderstorms. So factor that in. My 2 cents, go early or go late, middle of the day with all that heating. You're going to run into these storms, and you don't want to run into the big one. Now, we do still have a severe thunderstorm watch up north, but from Austin south, that includes San Antonio and very close to our area, but certainly in the crossroads. All that is a heat advisory. And for deep south Texas, they have an excessive heat warning already. So heat indexes up at 110. That's when your body really starts to work overtime. Tomorrow, looking at 95 for us, 102 along, where Highway 281 is. On that side, everybody's going to be into the hundreds all the way out to far west Texas. We do have one system that looks like it's going to be organizing in about the next 2 days, but the good news, it is moving in that direction northeast, so it wouldn't be coming into the Gulf of Mexico. For us, we take a look at your day planner for Port Lavaca tomorrow. Okay, you boaters and you fishermen, yeah, here we go. Look at this, little bit of cloud cover in the morning and then just plain old sunshine all day long. A good sea breeze in the afternoon is going to be very helpful, but it could kick up to about 20-25 miles an hour. Getting up to about 92 along the immediate coastline. Inland areas, well, it's even warmer than that, getting up to 96 with abundant sunshine, shall we say, in all areas of the inland area. The high heat advisory, and remember, the temperature of the air is 95. The heat index, or how it affects you, is 114 for tomorrow, and then it'll be 117 on Monday. So for all those activities, and we certainly want you to go, just get fluids, get a hat, look for shade, and don't overdo it in the middle part of the day. That's your 7-day forecast, reminding everybody we do have a QR code. Love for you to scan that, put Crossroads Today on your phone. Here's Don.
Mac, thank you. Zach Brown has your sports. And Zach, you're going to talk about a young man named Zach?
So I am going to talk about a young man named Zach. We're also going to talk about the Victoria East Titans, who are fighting for their playoff lives this afternoon. I'll have all that coming up in sports. We have one softball team who is heading to the state tournament. That is the Shiner ladies, who have finally knocked off the Weimar Wildcats. They swept the entire season against them, and they won the first 2 games in their best-of-3 series. It's been a few years since Shiner has made it this point, and the girls who are state ranked all year long, and hopefully we can catch up with those girls very soon as they look to add more hardware in their already historic trophy case. Opponent time and date still to be determined. Congrats to the Shiner Lady Comanches. The East Titans lost a tough one in Game 1 to Leander Rouse last night. Game 2 going on right now in San Antonio. We actually have an update on this score. It's currently 7-0 Leander Rouse in the 5th inning. If the Titans are able to pull this game out, Game 3 will be 30 minutes after Game 2, so we will know tonight if the Titans are moving on or going home. Hopefully we find that scenario out later, because that would mean that they have forced a winner-take-all Game 3. That update on 25 News Now at 10. After a thrilling Game 1 win Wednesday night, last night was not Ganato's night. They were down 7-1 in the 2nd inning, and it did not get better after that. Final score in this one, 12-1. So we're going to have a winner-take-all Game 3 this Saturday. It's going to be in Hallettsville at 4 p.m. The NCAA and the 5 power conferences have agreed to a settlement that paves the way for schools to pay student athletes. According to multiple reports citing unnamed sources, the agreement includes the payment of nearly $3 billion in damages to past and current athletes. Per ESPN, sources say the parties have agreed to a revenue sharing plan that will allow each school to share up to about $20 million per year with its athletes. In return, the athletes cannot file another antitrust suit against the NCAA. The settlement still needs to be signed off by a judge. If approved, schools can begin revenue sharing in the fall of 2025. And speaking of Power 5 conferences, we had a local star recently decide to flip his decision from Army West Point to go play college ball at Arkansas. Yoakum Bulldog Zachary Taylor. He was a 3-star athlete who played quarterback for Yoakum, but he will be a receiver for the Hogs. He actually messaged me today and said he's already moved into his Arkansas home as he gets ready for his college football days, and he was part of that Yoakum team that just tied for first in the state UIL track meet. The Crossroads excited to see what the local guy can do on the SEC level. The Houston Astros off last night, so the Rangers trying to gain some breathing room between them and Houston. First runs of the ball game, Adolis Garcia to left center field, and Philly able to respond with a homer of their own from JT Realmuto to tie the game right back at 1 apiece. But in the 4th inning, Philadelphia began to open up its lead. They would score 3 runs in the 4th, 4 in the 6th, and they win big, 11-4. The Astros and Rangers now separated by just 1.5 games of each other. Texas, though, 3 games back of first, and the Astros currently sit just 4.5 games out of the top spot in the AL West. That is it for your sports. Don, back to you.
Zach, thank you. We're back in a moment. Nearly 30,000 flags have been placed on graves in Milwaukee's War Memorial Center to remember those who made the ultimate sacrifice. Finally tonight in Milwaukee this weekend, many families will head to the War Memorial Center for the 5th annual Field of Flags. This site holds nearly 30,000 flags on the graves of Wisconsin veterans who were killed in action going back to the Civil War. Volunteers have been placing about 6,000 flags at the Memorial Center each day since Monday. And this, of course, reminds everyone, I hope it does, the true meaning of this weekend, Memorial Day.
That's right. We remember those that never came back or never came home.
The ultimate sacrifice.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
So, and that's why I'm saying, you know, there's going to be a lot of veterans, a lot of elderly, a lot of people out, and we want you to have a great observation and event and a weekend. You just need to deal with the heat. What does that mean? Well, it's going to be a heat index of 110 on Monday, so get the fluids, get the hat, get the shade, get the umbrella. There's no shame in using an umbrella if you need it, you know, and otherwise try and have a good weekend.
Thank you, Mac, and thanks for joining us. We'll see you tonight for 25 News Now at 10. Have a good one, everybody.